Breaking news tonight, American Idol superstar turned Oscar winner devastated. In an apparent home invasion, Jennifer Hudson's mother and brother brutally murdered in their own home. The American Idol star breaks the bank, offering a $100,000 reward for the safe return of her 7-year-old nephew kidnapped from the scene, only to learn the little boy confirmed dead. Cause of death, multiple gunshot wounds to a 7-year-old. Tonight, we can confirm the murder weapon is a P226 Sauer semi-automatic. It's a .45 caliber handgun, the .45 found discarded in a vacant lot just around the corner from where little Julian discovered dead. And is the same weapon used in the Hudson family murders. Bombshell tonight. Was the victim's own gun used to murder him and his family? Was that gun stolen from the victim months ago? Investigators combing grainy surveillance video and cell phone records in the search for leads. As we go to air, Hudson's brother-in-law, William Balfour, on parole for a '99 attempted murder, picked up for questioning. He was arrested for cocaine just this past June, slipped through the cracks, no jail time, walking free at the time Hudson's family gunned down. Did one of his girlfriends blow his alibi? And as he's still refusing a polygraph, is he poised to walk free again? In the last hours, a private funeral service for the Hudson family. Jennifer Hudson, American Idol, American Dream Girl, American Nightmare.
Chicago police reportedly investigating whether the gun used to kill Jennifer Hudson's mother, brother, and nephew belonged to her murdered brother, Jason. Forensic testing determined the .45 caliber pistol recovered last week by police was the weapon used in the triple murder, and Hudson's brother allegedly owned an identical one he thought was stolen from his home months ago.
The gun is the central piece here, linking the three bodies, the two crime scenes.
My son's alibi was with one of his girlfriends. If William did do this, right, no, in no means am I going to sugarcoat it and say my son didn't do it. I know my son didn't do this.
Yeah, right. Tell it to police, lady. And tonight, police desperately searching for a beautiful 3-year-old Florida girl, Kelly, after her grandparents report her missing. Little Kelly now not seen 20 long weeks, last seen with her mother. So why didn't mommy call police? Headlines tonight. Investigators narrow down the timeline and pinpoint key search areas to find Kelly. We learn more about Mom Casey's movements in the critical days just after Kelly last seen alive. A massive search set to commence by land, by air, by water tonight. Where is Kelly?
To track Casey Anthony, we followed her constant companion, her cell phone, to Monday, June 16th, the day Casey's father, George Anthony, swears his daughter and granddaughter left the house at 10 minutes before 1 in the afternoon.
Cell phone records show they did not go far.
She pings this tower near Tony Lazzaro's apartment at 5:57 that afternoon. 2 hours later, they're arm in arm at a Blockbuster. Kaylee nowhere in sight. Tuesday, June 17th, at 5:20 that afternoon, her cell pings a tower near Blanchard Park. Something strange happened next. Casey's cell phone goes silent. No text messages, no calls for 3 hours, from 5:23 to 8:23 p.m.
Kaylee hadn't been seen alive for about a day and a half.
Wednesday, June 18th, the day her parents' neighbor would later say she borrowed a shovel and in what a neighbor said was an unusual move, backed her car into the family garage.
Good evening. I'm Nancy Grace. I want to thank you for being with us tonight. American Idol superstar turned Oscar winner Jennifer Hudson rocked by violent crime. Bombshell tonight. We confirm the murder weapon is a P226 Sauer semi-automatic .45 caliber handgun. It was the victim's own gun. Was it used to execute the Hudson's family?
The murder weapon used to kill Jennifer Hudson's mother, brother, and nephew reportedly belonged to Hudson's brother, Jason. Jason Hudson allegedly owned a gun identical to the .45 caliber pistol used in the murders, a gun he thought was stolen from his home a few months ago.
We're extraordinarily pleased and satisfied that the weapon has been identified as the weapon that was used in the homicides.
The weapon itself is a .45 caliber semi-automatic handgun.
The owner reported it missing. Police are still trying to figure out whether the gun could be linked to a person of interest. That person is William Balfour.
We do know that about a month prior, he'd gotten into an altercation with Jason. James Payton, who was coincidentally Jennifer Hudson's ex, broke it up and beat him up. William Balfour then became enraged, threatening that he would come back and kill Julia Hudson and the rest of the family. He definitely has a shady past.
He has never been the type of kid that you could say was a violent type. William was not raised to disrespect no one.
Out of no means did my son do this.
Straight out to Michelle Sagona with America's Most Wanted. Michelle, what can you tell me about this weapon?
Well, this weapon, Nancy, there are a couple of reports out there. The first report, as you just mentioned, that the weapon did in fact belong to Jason Hudson. That's something that just came out today. But as of a couple of days ago, there were reports that the murder weapon was in fact stolen from a home in Michigan and then somehow made its way to Illinois. But either way, police are not confirming who this murder weapon in fact does belong to, if it was Jennifer Hudson's brother, if in fact it was a mysterious person in Michigan. But at this point, they do know it was found just about a block away from where her nephew was murdered. And there were extra bullets inside of that gun, Nancy, which in fact do match the shell casings at the murder scene. So this is how police are able to link this murder weapon to
What, Michelle Sagona, are you telling me that they forensically match, or they're just the same type and brand?
Well, at this point, from what police have told us, Nancy, is that the bullets inside of the gun do in fact match the shell casings at the scene. And now how they have made that link, or how they've made that assumption.
You're saying, okay, I want to go to Michael Sapriconi, former NYPD, president of Squad Security, Inc. Michael, saying that the bullet inside the gun matches the casing, that's not a positive matchup. That's just saying it's the same caliber.
Right, Nancy. That's all it's saying, is that it's the same caliber bullet. Forensically, you need to match the swirls on that casing with the round.
A used bullet.
Right.
That's what you've got to match up. What can you tell me about a P220 Sig Sauer semi-automatic? I know it's the Cadillac 45s. Speaking of 45s, you know, a lot of cops, a lot of military, turning their backs now on 9mm weapons in favor of the 45. Why? The stopping power. You can stop somebody with one bullet from a 45 very often much quicker than you can from a 9mm. It is German made. What can you tell me about the weapon, Michael Sapriconi?
Well, it's a heavy-duty gun. It's used, like you say, a lot of law enforcement is turning to it now, rather than using the 9s and the Glocks that we were using back 10 years ago. It's a killer's gun. It's an assassin's gun. It's often used by drug dealers and criminals.
Now, why do you say it's a doper gun? A lot of guns have reputations. For instance, a 22 is a hooker's gun. Why do you say a 45 is a doper's gun?
Well, I just, through my experience, a lot of times we've found that type of weapon, that high caliber weapon, is used by drug gangs.
We are taking your calls live at